call this meeting to order of our council meeting, regular meeting. Ask everyone to rise who is able. Do a presentation of the pledge followed by a prayer for Councilman Wilson. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day, this beautiful day we had today, Lord, and we say thank you for it. But Lord, if it's possible, please send us some rain. Lord, we thank you for this council, Lord, who works very tirelessly trying to keep our city running smoothly. And we thank you for our staff, who works hard also. Lord, we thank you for our citizens who come to our meetings and listen and sometimes give input to our city, and we thank him for that, Lord. Lord, there are some of the people in our community who have lost loved ones, Lord. Comfort them at this time, Lord, if it's your will. Lord, be with us, give us the wisdom and the guidance to go through this meeting, Lord. And may we also be transparent to our citizens. We never lie to you. We always tell you the truth. Lord, thank you so much, Lord. This is the prayer we pray in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular meeting. Those of you in the audience, thank you for coming. Those who may be listening at home, thank you for listening in to our regular business. We have any citizen presentations or comments? Not this evening. We'll proceed to item number 4, proclamations and recognitions. We'll start with proclaiming the month of February as Black History Month. So we have a proclamation to that effect. Whereas Black History Month affords special opportunity to become more knowledgeable about Black heritage and to honor many Black leaders who have contributed to the progress of our nation, and whereas such knowledge can strengthen the insight of all our citizens regarding the issues of human rights, great strides that have been made in the crusade to eliminate the barriers of equality for minority groups and continuing struggle against racial discrimination and poverty. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Carlton Tucker, Mayor of Weimar, Texas, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Black History Month, and urges our citizens to join in making this period rededication to the principles of justice and equality for all people. I hereto set my signature on this date. Carlton Tucker. Do we have anyone here? Come take a picture? Come on up.
You might be better if you come this way with me.
Yes, that's a good idea.
There's one
That's
in
a
the
good
audience.
plan.
There's somebody in the audience.
Leroy?
They will
Yeah.
come up.
Be famous in Leroy's a regular. He needs to be here.
Mr. Jackson. All right. Good.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
All right, our second proclamation, proclaiming February the 12th, 2026 as Red Door Day. Whereas Red Door Fund for Mental Health was established in 2021 by the Greater Fayette Community Foundation, whereas mental illness is more prevalent in rural areas than in urban communities, and yet there are fewer mental health providers and resources available in rural areas to offer treatment and support. Whereas the vision of the Red Door Fund for Mental Health is for the purpose of struggling with mental illness and their loved ones in this rural region to not only have access to resources they need to be able to navigate those resources, but also be able to turn to any person for support and feel accepted, understood, and unashamed. Whereas since 2021, the Red Door Fund has invested over $196,943 back into the community directed towards advancing mental health services and providers in alignment with the priorities identified by the community itself, and whereas thousands of people have been inspired to be a red door themselves, with red doors and driveways seen around the region during the month of February, in hopes to spread mental health awareness and increase mental health services and programs in our local rural communities. I, therefore, be it resolved that Carlton Tucker, Mayor of Weimar, Texas, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim February the 12th, 2026 as Red Door Day throughout the city of Weimar, Texas, and urge citizens to recognize and support the Red Door Fund to aid in the mental health awareness and education throughout the community. I hereto set my hand on this date. So, good. I know we have some folks.
Yes, some red doors. I'm moving out. This chair rolls pretty fast, Cheryl. So
Okay,
Watch these chairs.
we got
We'll
one
get
more
away
for
from-
Jamie.
One more coming. All right. Got a thorn between all these roses.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank y'all for everything y'all do.
thank you.
Good to see you.
I gotta catch it.
Every time.
Take care. Take care.
And one more. 4.3, proclaiming Saturday, February 14th, 2026 as Go Texas Day. And I believe we have a speaker on that item. Come right up, Ms. Warren.
Good evening. We just wanted to, on behalf of the Chamber and the Police Department, invite council and everyone in town on Saturday to our event. We have the Sheriff's Posse and the Junior Mounted Posse girls coming to town. We're hoping to welcome them in, and if everybody could do me a favor and say a little prayer that we get rain tomorrow instead of Saturday, that would be great. But we just wanted to extend an invitation to council. I know the lieutenant has proclamations for the mayor, the city manager, and the city secretary, so council members, if you guys would like to bring the kids out, join us, we'd love to have you there, so.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have a proclamation for them as well. Whereas Weimar, Texas is proud to celebrate the rich history, culture, and traditions of the Western heritage, and whereas Go Texan Day provides an opportunity for the residents of Weimar to come together in celebration of Texas pride, unity, spirit, and whereas Go Texas Day honors the hardworking people of Texas who continue to make significant contributions to the growth and prosperity of our state, and whereas the people of Weimar are encouraged to wear their finest Western attire, enjoy local festivities, and participate in activities that highlight our shared values of community, heritage, and pride in all things Texas and Western heritage, and whereas Weimar recognizes that Go Texan Day helps promote tourism, local business, and fosters a sense of unity and celebration of the traditions that make Texas great. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Carlton Tucker, Mayor of Weimar, Texas, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim Saturday, February the 14th, 2026 as Go Texan Day in Weimar, encourage all residents, businesses, and visitors to join in on the celebration of Texas Pride, and I hereto set my hand to this on this day. Come on up. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
You want those kiddos to come up front?
Guys, come on up here.
Mark, hold right up front.
I see you guys every
There
day.
you go.
How are you? Good to see you.
Hold in.
Okay, here we go.
That's not right.
There we go, to see him now. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2. One more, sorry. 1, 2, 3.
Yay.
Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it.
I would like to tell you that we give, for the whole county, we give $125,000 scholarship this year. So we need people to show up and support us also. And September the 19th is the first.
September the 9th, $125,000 every year.
Well, this is the first year, we keep going up and up.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. $125,000 in scholarships this year. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Okay. We'll proceed on to item 5, new employees, none this month. David?
For the city manager's reports, we'll do my report first on page 9. I'll let you look through the financials. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. I was looking at page 9C, the one with the graph at the bottom there, the right-hand corner, total funds. It's amazing how it stays basically the same. It doesn't fluctuate a whole lot. If we make a big purchase, it goes down a little bit, but otherwise it stays pretty similar throughout the months. Once again, there's no vehicle repairs.
Yep.
It's either good luck or the benefits of using fleet services and having some newer vehicles in our fleet.
That's good news. David, do you have anything you want to highlight on the city manager report
And,
itself?
so go back to the city manager report. I did skip that section.
Yeah.
I added a few things down the bottom here, that the Police Chief Association is interviewing 3 people for the police chief position. And once they finish their initial interviews, they'll pass on 1, 2, or 3 of those to us to interview as a group. I believe Kyle will be on the board, the mayor, myself, and Danny Stock will be on the interview panel. That should be here in the near future. Also, I got some tax reports, and looking at the interest from Fayette Savings Bank in 2025 was $176,898.93. That was the interest we received on our investments there. So I thought that was pretty good.
That's good.
That we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So, but if there's any other questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Okay. All right, we'll go on to the Public Works Department. Michael?
Evening, everybody. So January, we had a pretty busy month. Thankfully, the freeze only hampered us for an hour or two. Other than that, we were good to go. But the fallout from that, we have had a few leaks that have popped up, and we've been pretty busy with smaller distribution line leaks throughout town. As far as big projects go, Techline has finished the Park Drive new pole that they've been putting up. They put up 8 new poles. They're still in town right now helping out with one smaller outage that we're going to have to do over off of Post Office and Exchange. Forgive me, I'm not great with the street yet. That one pole that they're going to take out, it would wind up doing an outage for about a 3-4 block area for an extended amount of time. So we got them to put an isolation switch, so it should only take out a few houses instead of a few blocks. Other than that, they'll be rolling out of town here shortly. We've had Mercer Construction in helping with 2 very large leaks that we had that we kind of patched along until we could get a bigger crew out to help handle some of these larger leaks. St. Michael's had a fire hydrant that needed to be moved for the new TxDOT sidewalk project. That's all been completed and ready to go. And as far as the wastewater plant, we finally got all 5 aerators back up and running, running at full efficiency now at the sewer plant. So now at this point, since it's the winter months where we don't need near as much air, we're now cutting those back down, and we'll be alternating those in and out to, one, reduce hours on the motors and make sure they last longer, but then also to not over aerate the plant. Another thing that we have going for February is planning to do this the last week of the month, and this will be an ongoing project probably until the summer. We have a lot of valves here in town that are completely inoperable. Every time we go to do a water leak, we expect to be able to get onto 2 to 3 valves, and then it winds up we're 2 or 3 blocks outside, further past where we thought we would be able to isolate. So instead of isolating a 1-block area, we're isolating 3 and 6 block areas because the infrastructure is just broken. So with that, I'd already wanted to do a hydrant maintenance program, and with that, we're also going to add in a valve maintenance program. So within the next few months, any downtime that we have, we will be going around methodically from hydrant to hydrant, valve to valve, operating all of these, opening them up, closing them, relubricating, fixing valve stacks, changing out valves, anything that we need to do going forward so that this isn't a continuing problem.
Will you have to cut the water off and do some of that stuff?
To test them, no. It would be just a simple turn it off, turn it right back on, instant kind of thing. It wouldn't be for a long period of time. And what we'd be doing when that happens is we'd have our valve wrench on the valves, and we'd be lubricating down in there, kind of tap them with a hammer so that that lubrication seeps down into that valve. And it would just be a very quick off-on. It would not be any kind of extended, anything like that.
You mentioned that TxDOT satellite project. When is that scheduled to come through?
We were supposed to have had everything done on our end by January 1st. So that will be coming probably this summer, anticipate. But as far as anything, electric, water, wastewater that we needed to do on our end, it's all been completely moved. So now it's just up to TxDOT. That's up north 155. Any questions? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you so
Very good.
much.
Thank you. Chief?
All right, couple things we got going. We're still training our new hire. He's doing amazingly well, so I have a lot of hope that he'll be on the street patrolling soon. We have finished our teddy bear drive. We have teddy bears that are going out on all the trucks for traumatized children. Everybody, including our new hire, has already completed all their autism training. And I'm in touch with one of the autism groups that's going to provide us sensory packs, headphones, sunglasses, stuff like that at no charge so that we can get those on there as well. January started out fairly busy. I believe it was a total of 12 reports that were started, which is pretty good since we had Snowmageddon there towards the end of the month. We did make one arrest during the freeze for public intoxication, but the rest of them are broken down in the crime report that's in the agenda there. We had one animal report. We had 2 assault calls. That also includes family violence. 1 burglary. Let's see, 2 that were miscellaneous. Those were actually non-reportables. Occasionally we'll get a report and it's not reportable to the FBI, and it'll drop it into a miscellaneous category for us. We had 1 obstruction. We had 1 sex offense. 2 reports of child pornography. 2 of public intoxication, and 1 of sexual assault. Several of those have been closed out by arrest already. A couple of them are still in the investigation process.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Misty, the Public Library?
Good evening, Council, Mayor, City of Weimar. For our visits for January, we're a little slim this month, and I put it for, it's because we didn't have as many programs as we usually do in January, so it made it kind of slower. But February's making up for it as we come a bit later. We've had 33 audiobooks checked out on Libby, and then we had 48 ebooks checked out on Libby. So it's been still going strong with the online using book service that we have. For our graph for this month, for circulation, it's been really up and down. We've been weeding. If you can see the little red part, that's the first time we had the little red, is because we've been taking out books from the library and then fixing and putting in new books because we're running out of space, like always. Right now we are holding 17,908 books or materials in the library. We have 1,803 patrons, and right now we have being used is 316 books on loan right now. For February, we've already had some events, wonderful events happen. We had our Weimar Community Book Club Monday, and we had over 25 people join in that, so it was awesome. I don't know the name of the book right now, but you can go on Facebook or go to our website to see what book they're going to read for the next month, and they're going to be meeting on March 2nd. For this coming up tomorrow, we have an author, April McCurry. She has a book out. It's about horse racing, so we're going to have her tomorrow at 10 a.m. We still have spots open for people that want to come and join us in the morning, so stop on by. And then the evening, we have Arts and Crafts Diamond Art Valentine for the kids and the families. It doesn't matter how old you are. I know a lot of people get involved in arts and crafts, so we have some spots open there yet. On Monday for President's Day, we're pretty busy with the program. We're going to have Friends of Libraries presenting a graceful glam at 10 a.m., so showing you how to do your skin and makeup and different stuff, so if you women want to glam up, even after Valentine's. In the evening for the kids, we have a Monday movie. It's the Disney Lady and the Tramp, the one back in 1980s or so movie that we used to watch when we were kids. So we got free popcorn and water to join in with that. And then another program that's coming up, we got during Family Story Time, is a little spoonful cooking with up a fairy tale at 10 a.m. If you'd like to join, please register at the library. We still have some opening spots for that on the 26th of February. And if you'd like to see anything that's on that I just said, we have the calendar up on our website, Facebook, or even come by the library and stop for a calendar to pick up. And at this time, we are still working on our accreditation for the library, which will be due in March. And then we have our big events coming up. Will be our 5th anniversary with our Poetry Mic Night. So we'll be looking forward to that in April, and we'll get more on that next month. All right. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you. The next report is from Billy Nunn, our building official. Billy can't be with us tonight. He is on his way to Austin to take he said it's a 7-hour plumbing inspector test, so he'll be up there taking his test tomorrow. Jim is here, code official.
Evening. How is everybody? Since I haven't done this before, since I started in August, 1st of August, I've cleared and resolved over 25 cases. These range from anywhere from grass, weeds to any animal issues that we've had in town. Right now I have about 5 active cases that I'm working, which include some abandoned houses. We've been working on a property on South St. Andrews, trying to get that figured out. I was able to establish an abatement mowing service operation if I need to use them. And right now the biggest issue in town is feral cats. And David and I met with a young lady yesterday. We're working on some sort of resolution. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot of them. So, other than that, been trying to help the police department any way I can to straighten things out. So, that'd be it. Any questions? Thank you.
Appreciate it. That concludes the city manager's reports.
Okay. To our next item, item 7. We'll start with presentations, and I believe the first one, David, is 2025 racial profiling report.
John, come back up. This is on page 2324.
All right, so I was able to complete our end-of-year monthly profiling report. We make sure that everything's looking good month to month, and then at the end of the year, we also have to submit it to the state for their reporting requirements. But for 2025, we had a total of 884 traffic stops, not necessarily citations, but traffic stops. Whenever you start looking at this, some people that are whizzes at math will notice a little bit later on, it drops one. That was my fault. I was halfway through a traffic stop, had half the ticket entered in, and I got a report that a transient was trying to break down the front door of the city hall. He thought it was already open and he wanted to charge his cell phone. So I ended up stopping that before it was complete, but the information's still captured, so it does drop out a little bit. And it's just that one citation. The biggest place that we've had traffic stops, by far, 87.9% were actually on the city streets. That's not I-10, that's not 90, that's not 155. It's actually in the residential areas, with the U.S. highway being the second highest at 11.09%. It's very rare that we know the race of somebody whenever we pull them over. A lot of times we see them way before we can even make out details of whoever might be driving, and we've already made the decision if we're going to pull them over or not. So 877 of those stops, we did not know the race of the person prior to the stop, and 7 of them we did. Breaking it down by race, let's see here, Hispanic Latino had 274 of those stops. Whites had 418. Black citizens, 157. Asian Pacific Islander citizens, 28. And Alaskan Native Americans / Indian had 5 totals of those stops. Breaking it down, I'm sure my wife's going to give me a hard time about this one, but women made up 34.62% and men made up 65.27%. It's an ongoing good-natured argument we have. So breaking it down, the main reason for traffic stops was moving traffic violations at 61%, followed by vehicle traffic violations. And a lot of the vehicle traffic violations is going to be you're running stop signs, running stoplights, failure to yield at your yield sign, followed by a violation of the law, and then pre-existing knowledge. Every now and then we will be looking for a specific vehicle because we're getting information from other agencies, or we have information that other officers have developed, and we're specifically looking for that for drug interdiction, human trafficking interdiction, and whatnot. In all those stops, 830 of them did not end in a search of the vehicle. 54 did. And out of that 54, 22 had consent. 7 had contraband in plain view. 21, we had a probable cause to believe that there was something in the vehicle that shouldn't be. One of them was an inventory. So anytime you get arrested and we have to tow the vehicle, we have to do an inventory, and that guarantees that the Mona Lisa that they had in the trunk is still in the trunk whenever they get their car. We have documented proof that it was there. And then 3 of them were incident to arrest. Contraband was discovered in 27. of the cases and not discovered in 27 of the cases. So we were 50-50 on the contraband. And our contraband is going to be drugs, which was 23, currency 0, weapons 5, and that was actually a pretty good one. We broke up a car burglary ring with that one. 7 of them were alcohol related, no stolen property, and no other items. Breaking down the stops, 9 of them ended up being a verbal warning. 652 were written warnings. 210 were citations. 8 of them started out probably as a citation, but ended up being a written warning because we were arresting them for another charge. 0 citation and arrest, and 5 ended up as an arrest with no citation or warning. The arrests were based on violation of the penal code, which was 8 of those. Violation of traffic law, which is 2, and outstanding warrants, which is a total of 4. And then physical force was not used in 883 of the stops, and it was used in 1 of the stops. There were several of them on this particular heading where they didn't check if use of force was used or not. And we are working on fixing that. We're doing that through training. But that was our profiling report that was submitted to the state, and I thought it was pretty impressive that they had made that many stops. So, thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.2, Fire Department Annual Report. David?
Yeah, I don't see Butter in the audience.
Yes.
There he is. You are, as big as you are, I couldn't see you. Come on up, Butter.
How are y'all this afternoon? I'm here to give our 2025 Weimar Volunteer Fire Department report. We had a total of 115 calls, which is about average, little lower than the previous years, but pretty much average. With a total man hours of 881, averaging 15.51 firefighters per call. Total round trip mileage for the vehicles, fire trucks, 1749. Total water usage was 37,115 gallons from the city supply. The total city calls are 49, and the total rural calls are 66, which is used to be like a 65-35. It's getting closer to 50-50 now, so just kind of changed a little bit. We didn't have as many grass fires because the drought kicked in a little later in the season. So, and we've had 22, and just in January alone this year, we've had 22 calls so far, which is almost 20% of the whole year. Yeah. We did, as you know, we went through an ISO audit. I hadn't heard any results back on our ISO rating. I don't know if they've contacted the city or not, but we haven't been contacted yet. I've talked to the Columbus Fire Chief. Their rating went down and went up to a 5 from a 4. So we expect kind of the same based on everything we were lacking and they were lacking were kind of the same. It seems like they're requiring a lot more information than they used to, so we didn't have any idea until this audit. So we have a opportunity to correct all this, and the rating doesn't take effect till next year, so on insurance purposes. We applied for a few grants last year. We received one from the Methodist Foundation. We were able to replace 2,400 feet of 5-inch large diameter hose on the top of fire trucks that supply from the hydrant to the truck. We can reach out 1,200 feet with each truck. each truck, which is a little bit more than we did before. We added a little bit. We've bought some struts for stabilization of vehicles and new airbags. I think the total was 30-something thousand from the Methodist Foundation. They covered 100% of that cost. And then we just received notification that we, on a grant that we had put in for like 5 years ago to the Texas Forest Service for rescue tools, rescue equipment. We have a bunch of equipment on order, including a gas meter, some additional struts for stabilization, some chainsaws, and a bunch of miscellaneous items that we're needing to replace. So we're getting a lot of the small stuff done and replaced, and we're in good shape. That's all I have. Questions? All right, thank you.
job.
Thank y'all for everything y'all do at the fire department.
Our next item, 7.3, fiscal year 2025 comprehensive annual financial report. David?
Greg Trilishek came in to visit with me yesterday. The financial audit is not complete yet. He will have it completed for next month's council meeting. So this time there's nothing to report on.
Very good. Move on to 7.4, Texas Independence Relay, Saturday, March 28th and Sunday, March 29th, 2026.
Yeah, I don't see Tara Dilly out there, so Tara put this sheet together. It's in front of y'all. She's asking for, see if I can find it. Yeah, down the bottom here, up to $1,700. That's typically what she asked for. She never spends that much. But if we could grant her up to $1,700 from the contributions to organizations fund out of the electric department, she'll bring in receipts to show what she spent.
That's not an action item.
Not yet, I think it's an action item later on.
Okay.
It'll show up in the consent agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll move to consent agenda. All consent items are considered routine and will be acted on by a single vote. So we have 8.1, approval of regular council minutes, January 8, 2026. 8.2, approval of special city council meeting minutes, January 15th, 2026. 8.3, approval of special council meeting minutes, January 27th, 2026. 8.4, approval to authorize the City of Weimar spring citywide cleanup to be held on Saturday, April 25th, 2026 from 8 a.m. to 12 noon at the city transfer station. 8.5, approval to authorize a citywide paper shredding event to be held on Saturday, April the 25th, 2026 from 9 a.m. to noon in the parking lot east of Weimar Public Library. 8.6, approval of funding support for the Texas Independence Relay passing through City of Weimar on March 28, 2026. 8.7, approval of a street closure, Mechanic Street between Jackson and Main on Saturday, February the 14th from 10 a.m. to 1 for the Go Texan event. And 8.8, approval of street closures for the Rock the Block community event on Friday, March 27th, 2026 from 3 p.m. until 12 a.m., including the temporary closure of East Post Office Street and North Mechanic Street and downtown Weimar.
On 8.5, the date has changed to April 18th. They have already booked that April 25th.
They've already changed it.
Yes, so it'll be April 18th with the voting on.
April, we'll make that amendment, April the 18th. So approval of authorized citywide paper shredding event to be held on April the 18th. Times are the same.
Same time.
Okay.
I move that we approve all consent items.
Second.
And we have a motion from Wilson and a second from Clazel. Any further discussion?
Hey, is Lauren still here?
I just want to point out, because this came up, apparently someone complained that a street was closed for kids for the Super Bowl or something, and so David asked me to look at the ordinance. Council doesn't actually approve street closures, that's city manager. So, I mean, you can approve it if you want, but it doesn't have any effect. And I would recommend, just for clarity, we probably just let David or the city manager do what the ordinance says he does. He approves them, and so in other words, we're not wasting, I'm probably wasting more of your time talking about it than doing it, but I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I appreciate that because it did come up and several of us have reviewed the ordinance, so I appreciate you providing that clarification.
Yeah.
I think at the council level, it's more for making people aware, getting lots of publicity so people are not caught unawares.
Yeah.
And for this weekend, that was a very small situation, very few people impacted by it at all. We could have done a better job of making people aware of it probably. David and I have talked about that, but he has the right to approve that on his own. For us, it's more of a awareness issue, making people fully aware, so we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and then to convey it to the public.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Get the
probably just
information
move
out.
it to presentations.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
It's
Or
particularly important,
whenever you approve it, just put it on the website.
particularly when you involve these major streets and it's a lot of traffic, makes a lot of sense. Okay, so there's been a motion by Wilson and a second by,
Oh, yeah, I have one question. Tiffany,
sorry.
on the Go Texan date, it says Saturday from 9 to 1, but on the request for the closure is from 10 to 1. Does she mean 9 to 1 on the closure?
So it's supposed to be 8 to 1. That's what time she told me the street was closing. We have vendors showing up, starting to set up. They won't
Gotcha.
be in the street, they'll be under the Hillbank parking garage. But I believe trailers and stuff start showing up at 9 and,
I think we should adjust that
I do
time from
too.
10 to earlier.
yeah,
Maybe just put it from 8 to 1.
from 8 to 1. Very good.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. So with that amendment as well, everybody clear on that?
Yes.
So motion by Wilson, second by Claisel. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. So we'll move on to new business, 9.1. Discussion, consideration, and possible action on approval of a conditional use permit requested by Sean R. Wine for property located in block 116 at 300 Townsend Drive, P and Z case 03-2025. And I believe we've got Gary Chernock here to address that. Gary?
Sean is here too.
And Sean's here too? Good.
Bit confused by why this is even on the agenda, because it was approved by P and Z at the meeting. So, I think the whole thing is probably in Sean's court as far as, if he's wanting to do a presentation about what they're doing, but, this has been already addressed and approved by, zoning. So, there is no, action to be taken unless it's contested. And then it would, as it is, any action P and Z takes is subject to appeal to city council. And if there's been no appeal, then there's no action to be taken. So, that's all I have on it.
Very good.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Would you like to come up and say something?
Oh, yes, sir. So we're here. Good evening.
Will you
So we're
state your
here.
name so we can,
Yes, sir. My name is Sean Onwan, the civil engineer for the project.
I'm Stephen McAvoy. I work for Insol Energy Solutions. It's our property.
Yeah. So, again, like you said, the conditional use permit was approved, but we're here to answer any questions that you all may have regarding the property. Just a quick overview of the property. It's a 3-acre tract, 300 Townsend Road. For phase one, we're looking to do 10 charging stations with a parking lot. And for phase two of development, we're looking to do an additional 10 charging stations with the 8,500 square feet retail mixed-use building. That will consist of commercial and also a QSR, which is quick service restaurants for the entire development. Initially, during that first meeting, for the remaining 1.5 acres in the back, we talked about a solar farm, but I believe in Seoul, we are not going to actually do that solar farm in the back. So that 1.5 acres is still up for discussion on what we're going to do with the remaining 1.5 acres.
what's a quick service restaurant?
Just a restaurant like a Burger King, Taco
smaller
Bell.
version?
Yeah, smaller version, yes, sir.
Okay.
If I might add one quick thing, when he was mentioning about the solar farm in the back, Mr. Dixon, who was our city manager at the time, and he pointed out that the particular size of the solar farm in question would not be permissible because of ERCOT regulations. It would be considered a generating facility. And so I think that's
why we're.
changed y'all's mind about that.
Correct.
But at any rate, just wanted to bring that up so that y'all are all aware of that. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
No action required on that. We'll move to, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. 9.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the E3 professional service agreement for the city of Weimar, Texas. David.
Michael, you want to start us off, or?
As well. Evening again. This is the same E3 bicarbonate that we had talked about last month. The only difference is a revised contract, just to update the warranty claims and everything to make sure we're all good to go on that. So that's the only changes to it.
And I will add, I did take some time yesterday to call the city of Huntington, I believe y'all service, and talk to their city secretary. They share a lot of the same problems we are shared, used to have the same problems we currently have, aging cast iron lines, some clay, and she said, I think it's been in service 2 years now, and she can't remember the last time they've had a brown water complaint. So I think one thing she did note was increased brown water for a few weeks, and I think y'all may have touched on that, some pieces breaking through.
As it starts breaking it down.
Are we able to get in front of that and flush a little bit more?
It's still gonna be coming out. I mean, that's the whole point of it, is to flush it out. So all we can do is really flush basically double and triple what we would normally be doing. And it would be a month to 2 months that we would be expecting that all of this scale would be slowly coming out of our system.
Michael, we would certainly want to post that information to the website, let people know, so that, you know, it's going to get better before it gets worse, at least for a short while.
Worse before it gets
Or better.
better.
Yeah. Gets worse before it gets better, so, very good.
Yeah, there's 2 contracts, I'm fine with them.
Everything
There's
good?
There's $2,500 design contract, and then the $45,000 contract that's got warranties, and we're fine with it.
It looks good now?
Yes.
Well, this is an action item.
How long before this would be up and running?
So, well, we're hoping for 30 days. Yeah.
So waiting on TCU to bless.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the E3 professional service agreement for the city of Weimar.
Motion's Cardino.
Second.
Second, Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, 9.3, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding recommendation of a contract to a qualified architecture engineering firm to provide planning, design, and construction-related professional services in support of the City of Weimar's application to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department grant program for the development of a sports complex and related park improvements. David.
Mayor, Council, we did post a RFQ for an engineering/architecture firm. We did get one submission, that was from Burdette Engineering and Architecture Services. The mayor, myself, and Derek Schwenke reviewed the proposal, and they scored very well. Actually, they scored 100. I've shared this proposal with the council. You know, I've seen it. It's outstanding. With that, Mr. Burdette is here in the audience if you want to come up and say something.
Good evening. I'm Charles Burdette. I'm president and managing principal of Burdette Consultants. We have offices in Houston and also in Bryan and in Conroe. We work for communities outside of the major metroplexes. That's our niche. We enjoy that. We also have our director of planning lives in LaGrange. We had the opportunity to come over and visit about 10 days ago and enjoy the site and everything around it in Hill Park, and also all down North Avenue down to Strickland. I'm familiar, having done a lot of baseball complexes and sports complexes, very familiar with I've never been to Strickland Field, but I know about it. I know the history, and was there when they were working on, in the smaller Little League complex, working on the power lines out there last week. But we're very excited about the project, and I will tell you that I'm excited about the community too, because I grew up in a small town, but there are there are not any small big towns. I mean, or big small towns. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I think you know what I'm saying. This community is I enjoy driving all the streets and walking through, going in the Catholic Church and just being amazed at that structure there, and the community itself and the merchants on the streets really enjoyed it here, and we have a lot of experience in Parks and Recreation grants with Texas Parks and Wildlife, and there are some challenges with that, and you have to do it repetitively, usually sometimes to get those. But y'all are set up well in time to get that first grant, which is that's due August 2nd, and so that requires a little bit of work through the Historical Commission with the state of Texas, public meeting, public engagement, which I know already that y'all likely will want to have, given the foundation and the way that you're fundraising for this park. The close proximity to Hill Park and the connectivity potential with that is really outstanding. We look at communities and we look at the trees and the landscape and the natural resources around, and this is going to be an incredible park. And so I'm very excited about it. Came this way on 10 the last time, came this way down 155 the next time. As I came into town, I saw two of the tallest sycamore trees I've ever seen in my life. The beautiful pecans and the pastures, and I know this is a community that's been around a long time, and we will design a park and a sports complex that's genuine and consistent and fits the vernacular of this community. It won't be a she kind of place that's not, that's not culturally the fit for this community. And we'll work closely with staff and your community and also the stakeholders that you identify for us. So we're excited about the project, if approved. Happy to answer any questions.
You're right, it is a beautiful place.
Oh, it
It
is.
is incredible.
It is, and the golf course right there, I've already toured around that golf course, and I plan to bring my clubs next time I come, so. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is an action item.
David, what are the, I guess, upfront fees or anything that the city's gonna have to come up with to do anything?
This will all come out of the existing funds that are in the foundation.
Perfect.
Foundation funds.
is there a company name we have to state or anything like that on here? But I don't really see.
Burnett, what's the exact name of the company so we get it right?
Verdict Consultants, LLC.
We're a 25-plus firm with 16 architects and landscape architects, parks and recreation professionals, former city parks directors, and dozens of sports complexes under our firm.
Burnett Consultants LLC, is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't, is it Burnett or Burn?
Burdette.
Burnett.
B. Burdette.
Oh.
Yeah,
Burdette.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the application with Burdett Land and Place to work with the Texas Park and Wildlife Program for eligible services to move forward with the sports complex. I don't really see what else to really say.
Motion Christian,
Second.
second Scardino. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
The verbiage wasn't great.
Yeah, I know, I didn't know what to really say.
He didn't have it beforehand and I
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
All right. So, we're on 9.4, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding adopting ordinance number 2026-0212-01, amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 12.04, Stopping, Standing, and Parking of the Code Ordinances of the City of Weimar, Texas, relating to parking in alleys, providing for increased clearance requirements, establishing parking prohibitions in certain alleys, providing for enforcement, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. David.
This was brought to us by one of the council members, Kyle, I believe it was. Is there anybody signed up to speak on this?
What number is this?
No.
No?
9.
No.
No.
So some things is I'd like to just have some discussion here, and I talked with Jim this afternoon. On page 82 at the bottom, 1204002. Whenever such designation is made as authorized by the city council, the city manager shall erect appropriate signs or other markings giving notice thereof. So according to this, we would have to put signs in every alley that you didn't want people parking on. I didn't count how many alleys we have in the city, but there's quite a few. So that's one thing I see, the signage there. On page 83, 120407, B number 2, overnight. So in improved alleys, I think when we say improved alleys, we talk like behind Casper's and down in this central downtown area. It says overnight. Bo, you can help me. Should we define overnight? Should we set some hours? Just say overnight?
Overnight's defined, overnight.
Very good, okay.
I mean, that's-
Jim and I had some discussion about that.
Yeah,
whether-
I think
It needs to
we
be
did.
clarified. We just want to make it as clear as possible for everybody. 120408, again on page 83. May issue citations, and this is accordance with state law. And Jim thought maybe including and municipal law. Is that? Because we're going to assess the fines here in the
Well,
city.
I mean, the ordinances say, unless otherwise specified, a violation of these ordinances is a Class C misdemeanor, which means it comes to court here.
Mhm.
So I'll get to listen to people complaining about getting tickets in 6 months. size specified in the ordinance. And then separately, the ordinances say here's the range of penalties for Class C ordinances, a fine up to $500. We can't put you in jail.
Yeah, we just went through and tried to catch anything that may be in question.
Yeah, I got a question on, so unimproved alleys, that's gonna be pretty much everywhere else in town except this downtown area?
Anything not unpaved,
Unpaved.
So, and I've had a few visitors over the last month on this, and they have a good point, you know, if they're parking there during the day and only need 15 feet, why does that change at night if they can't park there overnight?
So that's behind their houses? So if we pass this ordinance today, they wouldn't be allowed to park in the alley behind their houses at all.
Right, and that's what, and right now they can, correct?
You have to leave 10 feet clearance, I believe, as of right now today.
So that's where I'm kinda like, well, what about if we just increase that clearance to 15 feet across the board and allow overnight parking, see how that goes? Then 6 months, a year down the road, if it's still a problem, we can revisit that. Now, if there's, I don't know, how wide are the alleys, 25 feet, 20 feet?
Michael, yeah?
I think most of them are 15 feet right now, but something else I would take into consideration, you know, these alleys are meant for utility easements. And if we do have some kind of major water leak or a major sewer problem, something like that, and it floods that alley, and their vehicles are back there, you know, are we now gonna be liable for their vehicles because they're in a alley that they shouldn't necessarily be in the first place? And again, you know, we have crews that go out at all hours of the night for leaks and things like that. If we're out at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a lot harder to get somebody to move their vehicle at 2 a.m. as it is to 2 p.m. for any kind of emergency situation.
I don't think they weren't ever designed for people to constantly drive over.
yeah.
They were meant for utility easements.
I mean,
Part of the concern all along was to have access for you guys as much as it, so that you can get an up down there and do the jobs that you need to do, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a lot cleaner to just say no, because otherwise you say 15 feet, and maybe it's 14, you know, someone's out there with a tape measure, I thought it was 15, no, it's 50, you know, you're arguing, you know, I mean, I've been doing this long enough, I know that's what we're gonna get, is people saying, you know, well, if my neighbor across the alley would trim his hedges, it would be 15 feet, or something like that, and, so it's just, I know. I mean, maybe don't pass it and see if people really think that's just outrageous to not park in the alleys. I don't know. I don't park in the alleys, but I don't have an alley.
I just knew there was a few that had kind of parked halfway their yard, probably half the alley. There was gonna be more than 15 feet. But I mean, those are all good points, you know, it's 2 a.m.
Right.
We're gonna wake them up to move their truck.
But, I know some people park trailers and things in the alleys right now. We do have 2 locations that I'm aware of that they could park that trailer. Would be down here on Jackson Street, correct? And then over here by the donut shop, they can park either of those 2 locations. Set up for overnight park, but just parking in general. The 18-wheelers park there, people with large trailers park there. That's what, to my knowledge, that's what that was set up for. Is city property.
And the people who come to you, Kyle, wasn't it about free access up and down those,
Correct.
unobstructed access
And
up and
that's,
down those?
yeah, that's the main objective of this, is for city workers, say even fire apparatuses, that way you have room to where it's needed. 3 a.m., people aren't gonna be coming out, and half the time those vehicles are left there overnight and who's even say somebody's at home. So it's just even during the day.
And I think you checked with some surrounding cities, didn't you?
Sealy definitely has all this in place, and he said that you did get some backlash at first, but after, you know, six months or so, everybody started kind of going with the flow, and it does make things a lot easier even for their city crews.
I think I had probably thought the alleys were a little wider too, so if they're 15 feet, then
Yeah, at the max 20.
Yeah. Doesn't leave any room at all anyway.
It doesn't. Well, it is an action item if the council so chooses.
One more thing, I'll go back to the signage thing. If you want to leave the signage in, we'll purchase signs for both ends of each alley. If you want to remove that, then it'd just be the ordinance says no parking, we don't have to have signage, we could just take that part away.
I think we take
I
that
was
part
gonna
away.
say, yeah.
That's, I would think that's.
I don't think we
It'd
need
be a
to
lot
have
of
that.
work and a lot of maintenance.
Unnecessary expense.
Very a lot of expense too.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to adopting ordinance number 2026-0212-01, amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 12.04, Stopping, Standing, and Parking of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Weimar, Texas, relating to the parking in alleys, providing for increased clearance requirements, established parking prohibits in the certain alleys, providing enforcement, providing the severity clause, and providing an effective date.
Motion Christian,
Second?
second Roberts. Any further discussion?
Our city workers will take care of these alleys if we, like some trees overgrown in some of those alleys, they would take care
That's our
of it.
responsibility, yes.
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 Any other discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, 9.5, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding rescheduling the May 14th, 2026 regular council meeting to Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, for the purpose of canvassing the official returns for the May 2nd, 2026 general election. David?
Maria?
Yes. We have a time period to do the canvassing after the elections. In our council meeting that month does not coincide unless we have a special meeting. We could do either Tuesday, move it to Tuesday, or however y'all choose. Or call a special meeting.
I think we do this almost every year.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
I think so.
Yep.
Pretty common.
I so move, Mayor.
Second?
Motion Wilson, second Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 10, discussion. 10.1, discussion and consideration of water system quality concerns, including recurring discoloration, aging cast iron water lines, potential phased replacement, treatment options, and possible funding options. David?
Okay, we have a few people that, or at least I know one signed up to talk on this one, correct?
What number is this? 9.5? We don't have anybody.
No.
But Simon, Simon would like to talk on this.
Okay.
Oh, 10.1?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. Thank you. Thank
Come
you.
on.
Simon, if you'll come up and, first, let me say a little something. That Sunday night during the freeze, we had some issues at the water tower where the sensor froze in the, I guess, the off position. And so we were out there working on it. We had a lot of people at home complaining, if nothing else. Simon was out in his truck. He came to us and said, look, I live in the community. I'd like to help. I'm in this business. Is there anything I can do to help? I took his number down. We got it resolved. And I called him back and said, hey, we got it resolved. So that started our relationship. And he said, and I invited him to come tonight to talk about what he can do to help the city with our water quality issues.
Correct, so I'll do my best to keep it brief. So my name is Simon Porter. I'm the COO and co-founder of a company called E3 Energy Solution, not just E3. You'll find there's about 10,000 E3s registered in the United States. If y'all haven't learned that from a trademark lawsuit, you will soon. I'm also the SVP of a couple of different mechanical construction companies. We work all over the U.S., South America, Canada, Gulf of Mexico. My background is pipeline rehabilitation, mostly focused on the oil and gas world. You'll notice none of my titles were like sales guy or public speaker, so forgive me, I'm the unpolished one on the team. What we do is turn old crappy pipelines into conduit for new spoolable composites. So in the oil and gas world, we take a 100-year-old pipeline, we blow a rope down that pipeline after I'm making this is like 101, and we pull a new hybrid spoolable through it. So the gas company owned a 100-year-old steel line. Now they own a brand new hybrid spoolable that'll last 500 years. We've recently transitioned a little bit into the municipal world. We've been kind of dipping our toes into it. I'm under NDA on a handful of projects that we've completed. One significant one was in the Waco area. Another one was in the Bakersfield, California area. We've recently added the former president of the Ector County Utility District to our team. So we're dipping our toes into the municipal world. I live in Weimar. We have a warehouse in Schulenburg. I own property in Shiner where we're building. My corporate is in Denver. But I've been here about 3 years, so I'm not here to bang on the desk, as I'm sure many have, about the brown water, but I have been the guy who's had the brown water. I think I have a solution to your problem. Basically, as I understand it, this is just for me to introduce myself, and maybe we can have some much longer conversations later about what we do and how we do it. Our methods are cost saving. We can do miles at a time of rehabilitation in a matter of days. We have the ability to reroute municipal water through poly so that your citizens don't go without, more than the 5 to 10 minutes it takes for us to connect our rerouted service line. We can dig one bell hole on each end of the line instead of thousands of feet of digging up your streets. Most of what we do is what I refer to as pipe and pipe, meaning we replace it with a new spoolable composite, which means you lose a diameter inch. So if this were Katy, Texas, they would say, no, we can't lose that because we're bringing on a new residential area. I think a lot of places, smaller towns we run into, your stuff may already be derated, running at less pressure than it probably should so that you don't have leaks anyway. So typically, like I say, the product we replace the steel line with or line it with is better than the steel that's in the ground anyway. We do have the capability to do what's called pipe bursting, which can replace the line with up to 2 nominal diameter inches above. So a 4 now becomes a 6, a 6 to an 8, an 8 to a 10. Super cost effective. I did a little bit of research this week. It doesn't look like, is anyone here familiar with Proposition 4 from November? So the state of Texas allocated $1 billion a year for the next 20 years to help communities just like this with this exact problem. So I kind of feel like not only can I solve your problem for a more cost-effective method than dig up and relay, I think I can probably help you find the funding to do it. There's a handful of options out there, and we have the team to do it. So I'm kind of limited on some of those answers to some of the questions you may have around that, but just wanted to introduce myself. I'm happy to entertain questions if you've got them.
So question on an existing cast iron line. Let's say that line's 2 inches. It's now been there 100 years. And,
yes, sir.
Now the diameter, say, is an inch.
Correct.
You relining that, is that going to then make that inch maybe 3/4 of an inch?
So it's a good question, case by case basis. So we are one of the only people in our industry who are product agnostic, meaning there's other people who do what I do, but they only do it to support their own product that they're pulling. I'm agnostic. So if you were to give me a case study and go, hey, from here to here, and then we could look at what your flow rates are that you need, there's 100 options. We could reline it, which would potentially maintain almost the same ID, or we might come in, especially if it's cast iron, we might recommend a pipe bursting option, which is what I was saying, where basically you run, it looks like 3 shark fins under the ground, minimal disturbance, actually no disturbance where we're running it. It bursts that pipe open, and we're pulling up to 2 nominal inches above it. So if you had a 2 inch, we could replace it with a 2 or a 3 or a 4, again, and we can do this for miles and miles and miles at a time, with only 1 hole on each end of that pull.
I do have a question. What you're talking about is basically a cure-in-place type system.
No, so.
It's something similar in a sense, right, where you're going inside the pipe.
Similar, yeah, and we don't offer cure in place, mostly because cure in place relies on the integrity of the existing hose pipe.
Right.
So when the hose pipe fails, the CIP fails also.
Right.
We can do that, but typically in this instance, we don't recommend it because we're there to deal with a corroded pipe. So typically, no, we don't usually recommend liners that rely on the integrity of the hose pipe.
That, I was using that to say that as far as, you know, poking a hole on one side and a hole on the other side, now, what about all the taps and things in between? I mean, that's all still gotta be replaced and dug up individually, tap to tap, right?
100%, but it's a much smaller space, right? So, again, if you look at it versus digging up and replacing the entirety of the line, instead we're just digging small, you know, I don't know how deep your water lines are here, but we're digging small enough access that one person can get in, cut in, and tap it. And then, probably good for you, what we recommend is we run a potable water, you can either buy it or rent it, potable water poly. So we'll reroute that line and tap into all of your existing customers so that they're not disturbed during the time that we're doing the replacement. So correct, we do have to dig a hole at each place that we have to tap into it, but unless your lines are very, very deep, you're talking about a hole this big versus tearing up your street or your yards or your driveways or whatever for however long that line runs.
Do you have any kind of estimate on, let's say, if we were to replace a mile of water line versus doing what you were just talking about with the pipe bursting, what that, something like that costs?
So I've never done municipal dig up and relay. So I don't know what your cost comparison would be municipal. I can tell you that in the oil and gas world, where we look, it's the same thing, it's just a different product, right? For the most part. We typically, just on the construction side alone, we capture around 50% cost savings on the material in comparison to steel, on the construction comparison to dig up and relay, and on the long-term maintenance, because we are replacing carbon steel or whatever with a new hybrid spoolable composite. So the maintenance of that line and the lifetime of that line is double, triple, quadruple of the steel that's already there.
It's an amazing concept. I've seen it done on old houses, on old sewer lines.
Yes, sir.
Where they, you know, have an old pipe. That's exactly what they do. They burst the pipe, they pull it through, break that old pipe, and then they got a brand new line, and you started at the house, you just drug it straight through. It was amazing.
Correct, and typically that new line, the material cost alone is cheaper than the steel that you replaced it with. And I want to be very clear that we are not a small scale, like we don't do 100-foot runs. I can recommend somebody to do 100-foot runs. I'd be the guy to talk to about your whole system. We do this, I mean, we did a 14.5-mile continuous pull in the Gulf of New Mexico. It's the longest pull that's ever been done in the world. So, you know, again, if it's less than 1,000 feet, I have people I could recommend to you. We wouldn't, I want to be very clear, I would not be cost effective at 1,000 feet. My equipment, my boys and my toys are much bigger than that. But yeah, that's the deal. And again, if you've seen the pipe bursting, that's great. And I do want to clarify that we're not a cure in place group either. Happy to recommend those guys. We all run in the same circles. It's not what I recommend because again, that product relies on the integrity of the casing essentially that you're putting it in. And if your casing's already failing, it doesn't make much sense to put a new product in there. So anyway, happy to talk further. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself, and I don't know what the next steps may or may not be. I guess we can circle up later. Any other questions?
Well, first of all, thanks for stepping up that night.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't do anything. I just drove up and offered to help, but
Well, that's much better than
It's a start.
calling up and complaining. So we appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
I do have a question. So I know that you said you don't have to dig up the road itself, and I'm just kind of picturing it in my head.
yes, ma'am.
A lot of the times, with the talk and stuff, they always say they didn't know where one end, one began, you know, that type of stuff. So how do you know where to drill holes?
Well,
Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
it does. So we ran into, again, it's near Bakersfield, California. You can imagine what the pipes look like when we dig a hole this big. There were 1,000 different pipes in there. So we have some technology. It's called pigging. It's smart tools that we put in the line if we need to. It's not inexpensive, just to be clear. But if we needed to be are you asking how we're very sure that the line we're cutting is the line that we need to be cutting?
Correct. And then like where you're gonna dig is where you're actually gonna dig, because that's where that pipe is.
Yes, ma'am.
Ended. That's
So
gonna be your
We have multiple, I guess the short answer is we have multiple pieces of technology to determine that.
Okay.
Think of my core business is oil and gas, high-pressure natural gas lines up to 10,000 PSI, very dangerous stuff. I'm very comfortable when we go to cut into them that that's the one I need to be cutting into.
Okay.
Different pieces of tech that we use. I could talk for an hour about that. But.
No, it's fine, because I mean, like, I know there's a couple of roads that they already dug up the entire road.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of that reason, you know, they know where to do it.
Yeah, we have some super high-tech stuff that allows us to be very sure that where we're digging and what we're digging is what we're supposed to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Very good.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very cool. No executive sessions tonight, and
One last moment.
Yes, sir.
I have these gentlemen stick around as well, that might be able to help us with procuring funding through basically inefficiencies and things like that, similarities, to help with funding this project, so if y'all would like to talk about your.
Yeah, so Michael wanted me to come talk a little bit about, it's Texas Local Government Code 302, which is performance contracting. Performance contracting has been around in Texas for 40-plus years. It's used all over the world, and what it allows cities to do is to get projects done upfront, no capital upfront, and then you pay for it over time out of a couple different avenues. It could be increased in revenues, it could be energy savings, M&O savings, capital avoidance savings. And so a real good example is City of Hitchcock, which is down in Galveston. It's been down there forever, hasn't grown in decades. All of a sudden, all these developers show up and they want to put in big plants in neighborhoods, and they were actually telling them, no, you can't. Our wastewater treatment plant won't handle this, and our infrastructure won't handle all that. So we went down there and we were able to fund $15 million worth of work, and it was about 30 cents on the dollar. And so the first thing that we did, and I know you guys have a grant for it, but we increased their, we helped them with new water meters, increase their water and sewer revenue by $600,000 a year. And so what this legislation will let you do is bring that forward 20 years. And so that goes into an escrow account that you can start doing work out of. The other thing that we did for them, which was kind of unique, we upgraded their wastewater treatment plant, and then we went out and got the city a contract with Republic Waste to where Republic Waste took their leachate, which is basically the rainwater that goes in the landfills. They took it there into their wastewater treatment plant, and that was worth about $1 million a year. So they were able to bring that forward also, and so they did all kinds of work from wastewater to drill press to just all along water and wastewater infrastructure. And then there's another example the other way. Edna, they did their water meters. They gained $400,000 a year, but they didn't put it inside the performance contract. So they can only spend $400,000 a year and get a little bit of work done every year instead of bringing it forward and getting it all done now at today's prices. So, so like with your example, with your piping, that was $19 million, right? That was 7 years ago. So it's probably even more now. And a performance contract will let you avoid that. So that's it in a sense. And you can combine those with grants and package it in and get a good project done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great information. Wow. Okay, let's see. No executive sessions, future agenda items, anybody?
You want to read these?
Gary?
We're just
don't know that this
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Really requires to be on the upcoming agenda, but, a discussion with David recently, we need to do some updating and clarification in the zoning ordinance. There's a lot of little missing items. There's things happening nowadays. There are things that are developed in the recent years that, since the zoning ordinance was adopted, that's actually not covered in our zoning ordinance. And it's come up a few times, and I think we need to do just a general overhaul of the zoning to get rid of some ambiguities and some just plain exclusions that are not there. You may correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I have been told that if it is not in the zoning ordinance, it is not permissible in the city.
I don't know, that would depend sort of on our prefatory language, but I think that that would probably be a reasonable interpretation, is that we say this is what you can do in each zone, and therefore we're not allowing it, if it's not expressly stated that it is
not allowed.
It's not
Yeah.
allowed.
And the other thing is that variances and conditional use permits they only apply to the existing regulations. You can only ask for a variance or a conditional use for something that already exists in the ordinance. So when people come forward and they ask for a variance on something that is not there, there is no grounds to grant anything. And I think a lot of people have been a little bit misled by, they think that you can get a conditional use or variance for just about anything, to do just about anything anywhere in the city. Now, some time back, I won't say that the zoning commission did not pass these out fairly liberally, but we've been trying real hard in the last few years to stick to the rules. Otherwise, it's no use having the zoning if we don't stick to the zoning rules. So we've been trying to be much more critical of variances and conditional use permits. They should be used as the exception and not the rule. So this has narrowed a lot of things down, and there's a lot of things, just a couple of things that, omissions that we currently have that probably need to be updated in the ordinance. Something that came up just recently with the gentleman that were here earlier about the EV charging stations and the building there. Okay, we kind of let the EV thing fly because it's like a gas station. Basically, it's fueling your car. So it's not specifically addressed in the zoning, but it was tied in also with their use of the, not a convenience store, but a market or food store type operation there. And Wildcat has already installed EV charging stations, and I'm assuming they were permitted through the city for that. I don't know. But it never came before us, so we never addressed it. It was there, and I just assumed the city permitted it. But that's one thing that really we need to have in the zoning, just that it is one thing that is allowed. We have something that's David made me aware of is food trucks. It is not addressed at all in zoning. And there are some that have existed in town locally in the past, and I know that they'll have something currently kind of in the works too. We don't have anything in the ordinance that provides us to allow that. So that's something that needs to be addressed. I've had people ask about tiny houses. Also, what's called a mother-in-law apartment. Basically, a second residential structure on an R1 lot. There's been some debate, we've had that discussion in the past, whether it should be connected to the existing structure, if that qualifies it, or if it's a freestanding structure, and then what happens if, say, somebody wants to buy that piece of property and it's at the back end. You know, there's a lot of things along these lines that need to be incorporated into the zoning rules. And I think we need to have a working meeting of the zoning commission to bring all these things up and to clean them up and make suggestions and maybe present it to y'all for consideration. You know, if there's other things that y'all see that need to be taken care of. It's not a problem now, but it can get to be if we don't address it. And our only alternative is just to tell people no. But it might be something we want to allow, and we really don't have the structure to allow us to do that. So I guess I'm kind of asking council's permission to proceed in that direction. And then any input from the council about things that may have been addressed to y'all that hasn't come before us that might need attention. We need to kind of put our minds together and see what we need to make sure is included in there. We also need to clean up the definitions that are in the incorporated in the zoning rules. There's some omissions. There's some very vague definitions, and there's some things that are just not clear at all what specifically is covered under the definition. So it's just the zoning rules we use were pulled together from multiple entities and kind of put in a bottle, shook up and dumped out, and that's what we got. And so I don't think it was ever edited to really see that everything was clear and in order. And I think we really need to address that. And so if that we need to put that on the agenda, I don't know, but I think we need to proceed in that direction just to try to keep the zoning effective. So,
I'd like sound advice from you, David. You can work with Gary on that, Bo if necessary.
yeah. And that's all I have.
That's all right, thank you. You take this very seriously, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I would think we would let P and Z, because you guys are on the ground with it, we would let you guys, you know, with public input, make comprehensive, sort of almost like a red line suggestion.
Basically,
And then I
that's
think, you know,
what-
we
that's what
still, and then we have to have it heard twice anyway, and as you know, people are gonna wait till the last second to tell you what they don't like. They're not gonna,
Exactly.
they're not gonna come to the meeting and help you.
And this is not something we can fix in one meeting either. It's something, but I know that council as a body, individuals rather, hear things that people want to do that they can't do. And we don't always hear all that because it's filtered before it gets to us. And so if there's something that needs addressing in the zoning that y'all know about, you know, if we have that information, it'll help us do a nice comprehensive overhaul of this. And that's what I think we need to do. So, you know, and then we'll prepare something that we can bring to y'all for critique, and then, you know, put it in the form of a amendment to the ordinance to update it. There's some places that there's just simple words of omission that were, I will give you one simple example. We had in the past, when the manufactured housing ordinance was adopted, we had specifically that the owners of the property could replace a mobile home one time, just a given. You know, if they wanted to upgrade or whatever, there's some restrictions on exactly, they had to be the same size, and it had to be a new building anyway. But they were allowed one replacement, just an arbitrary replacement, not from catastrophe or anything like that. It became aware recently that someone was wanting to buy a lot and put a mobile home on it. And there was an existing mobile home on it, and there's a simple deletion in the current language that it's not specifically that the original owner of the mobile home is the one that's allowed to replace it. So that implies transferability. And then, if you do that, then, well, okay, what does the new owner do? Are they entitled to a replacement of the replacement owner?
Yep.
So it's just simply omitting that one little word about it being the original owner. And so there's things like that that just need to be addressed and cleaned up. So anyway, that's what it's all about. So I appreciate your time.
Thank
Thank you, Gary. All right, so, anyone else, future agenda items? Number of announcements. David, do you want to make them? I'll read them. Weimer's Go Texan event, February the 14th, the Rock the Block event, March 27th, Texas Independence Relay event, March 28, 29, 2026, City Shred event, April the 25th.
18th.
Excuse me, now 18th, that's right, we just amended that. And 2026, and then the Spring Cleanup, 25th, 2026. Any other announcements? Thank everyone for being here for our regular meeting on the 12th of February. And with that,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
second, all right.